Hey there, you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion. Here's your host, RJ Carbone.
And a high drive into left center field. Stanley's going to watch another one fly. Are you kidding me? DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a
Take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
At the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! Mr. Nova.
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down and the game is tied.
Rose, you shook up the world again.
I did it again. My God did it, man. I really just had
Gonna have to. Brunson running away. Oh my! He has been the best player to put on that uniform.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Okay. Well. That was fun. That was really fun. I don't know where to start. So this is an audio only episode. It is Tuesday afternoon. I'm just getting home. I'm recording this one, so it's going to be quicker. But that was awesome. That was, man. It was the season-defining win. You know, we had waited all year for this team to really just show us that grit, show us that fight, and you got that in game one. You dropped game two. You got more of a complete victory, more of one, in game three. And this game was very similar to game one in the way that the Knicks were, you know, for the middle portion of the game, just not looking good, and things didn't look great for their odds at the end. I was pretty much expecting the loss. I had the game on my phone on mute, my tiny little phone, while I was watching the Yankee game on the TV. Most of my attention was on the Yankee doubleheader game. And this was, again, it was a season-defining game because the way they came through and, you know, being tied 2-2, the media would have made this so loud, even going back home to the Garden. Pistons fans, it would have just been, it wouldn't have felt like the Knicks had a home game coming up, even if they did. It just would have felt like they were defeated. That felt like the season for them. Maybe that's dramatic, but I mean, Detroit can play well all they want for 3 quarters. They can do that every game if they want. But what were we what did we discuss? All second half of the season, we brought this up. How, you know, when the Knicks were pulling out these games in the clutch, in these late scenarios where it was a tight game every night, and they had these tight games against enter team here. Regular season's a blur by now to me, but so many clutch moments in the regular season. That's what we were saying. That's what I was saying all second half. I'm like, the Knicks are very well conditioned and very well prepared for the postseason. I was saying these clutch moments are going to pay off in the postseason. And sure enough, your New York Knicks were down 11 points with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. It was 79-68 with no momentum. And they dig into their bag, and they had one more fight, one more run left in them, and they finish out the game on a 26-14 run to win it 94-93. In a classic physical battle against the good girl Pistons. And we will get to that stuff. But you had 3 massive shots by Karl Towns, who was struggling all game, wasn't really providing you what he needed to provide you until he was needed. Big 3-pointer. Another mellow type turnaround fadeaway from the baseline. And then obviously the big 3-pointer again at the end. Has a smart foul at the very end there. Smart foul, I said. Josh Hart has a big game. He had a key sequence in the fourth quarter that caught my attention. Grabs a very tough defensive rebound with Jalen Duren right there. Pushes the ball up the floor. Brunson's right next to him. He hands it over to him. Brunson misses the shot, but Hart comes from the perimeter, pokes the offensive rebound loose out of Jalen Duren's hands. Ends up being out on Jalen Duren. And then in the baseline out of bounds play, he does a nice job screening to free up Mikal Bridges for a jumper. And Hart had a classic Josh Hart game. And he's been great. He's been great this first round. This is why you stick with him. Mikal Bridges. Yeah. I mean, he didn't play a great game by the numbers. Two of his 3 makes in this game were big-time 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. So you have to give him some credit for that. And then, of course, this is why you're paying him, guys. This is why he was named the captain. 7 huge makes in the fourth quarter by number 11. Jalen Brunson, my God, my king, my hero. Jalen Brunson, 32 points in this game to make it 30 points in all 4 games so far in the postseason. And I'll do one better for you. He's the first NBA player of all time to drop 30 points, 7 assists in 4 consecutive postseason games to start off. That is just amazing. It's too easy for him. It's too easy for him. He is, like, I said this about number 22 who played for the Yankees last year. We don't like to mention his name here on the show anymore. There are guys who show up in the postseason, but then there are guys who take it to another level and do the rare thing where they're even better from the regular season into the postseason. And Jalen Brunson is one of those guys who actually steps up his game in the postseason and is even better in the playoffs than he is in the regular. I mean, he's leading fourth quarter scoring already in the postseason. His true shooting percentage in the fourth quarters of this postseason has been over 70%. And he scores 15 points at the end there. On one ankle, by the way. On one ankle. Every game he's getting banged up more and more on that ankle that he hurt towards the end of the season. 7 makes. Bunch of floaters. Some layups. He had that sidestep 3 that he pulled out of his bag out of nowhere. Goodness gracious. I mean, Jalen Brunson is getting the game ball because, of course, right? Of course he will. He is everything to this franchise. I can't say enough how he's still underrated too, and we're going to talk about the hate that he gets. Undeserved hate. So 26 game balls now on the year for Jalen. That's his first of the postseason. Yeah, man. Awesome to see. The offensive process for the Knicks in this game was pretty brutal for the most of it, but I did think early on it started promising. I thought early on in the game, the Knicks were doing a nice job of featuring Towns to get him touches. That's obviously been a big topic of conversation in this series, really all season. I thought they did a nice job of feeding Karl Anthony Towns, making sure he got his. They had at least a couple wedge screens, couple cross screens in their first possession of the game. Mikal Bridges cross screens for Towns to post Tobias Harris. A couple of minutes later, Mikal again. Towns pops with Tobias kind of pre-rotating to the post. He was anticipating Towns to go back to the post. So Towns off the Mikal Bridges cross screen pops to the top of the key. And then in the middle of the first quarter, Brunson sets the cross screen for Towns. So they were making a conscious effort to get him his touches, to find switches for him, to get the big onto Cat when they could off those screens, to get the wing or the small so he could post him. Now, it's something they need to lean into more. It's something they need to do more consistently. It's something they need to do throughout the game, quarters 1 to 4, not just quarter 1, not just quarter 4. Because there was a lot of unorganized offense in the middle portion of this game. Second quarter, third quarter, it was a lot of freelance garbage, a lot of mid-range shot attempts, and way too little three-point attempts. And it's been a topic all year here. Like, Towns needs to take advantage of those 1-5 pick and rolls and pick and pops every single time he has Jalen Duren. And he needs to take advantage of those post-ups every single time he has the cross match with Tobias. And then when Towns is posting and Hart's on the floor with him, you want Josh Hart to be the one to continue to feed him those entries. This way Towns can read the help coming from the front, and it's not help from the backside. So he can make his pass when Detroit pre-rotates down to double the post. So it's things like that need to still pick up. But there were some good possessions there. You know, I did see some things that I liked. Like in the first quarter, the Knicks, very soon, they attempted a Spain pick and roll. Didn't really get into it because Towns was pushed out of the action by Tobias. Third quarter, they ran a screen-the-screener action with Josh Hart and Towns screening and setting the pin for Mikal. Mikal ends up bumping it. He rejects into a jumper. Fourth quarter, you get a horns out to give Brunson space. Misdirection into a drive on Schroeder. So there were some things, but it needs to be a lot more consistent. They need to be a lot more consistent in running their sets and not shying away. I want to go to the second unit real quick. You know, the second unit hasn't been good. Campaign was he's been a non-impact after game one. Landry Shamet doesn't really play. Deuce McBride needs to be better. He's not bringing you much. Not great on both ends. Still better defensively, but the offense is not there. That needs to come around. But I think Mitchell Robinson, he wasn't great by any means last night or on whatever this game was, whenever it was. He wasn't great in game 4. But he did the most. He had some big offensive rebounds in the first quarter there. He had one which led to him going to the free throw line for a couple. I think he missed them. He had a couple there at the end of the first quarter that led to some free opportunities for the Knicks. I'm sorry, as I'm recording this, I got the TV on. They're still doing Jersey Shore. The Jersey Shore crew is still a show. Jesus Christ. I thought he was solid in pick and roll defense. But yeah, like right now he's not making much of an impact. Not as much as you'd like to see him make. And to be honest, I am enjoying it more when he's off the floor because I think Cat's holding his own on defense this series, and I continue to like the things that Cat can do when he doesn't have the big on him. Or, I'm sorry, when he does have the big on him. Right? Like in the fourth quarter of this game, the 2 big threes that Cat hit, the one at the very end, that's why you want him playing the 5. If Towns is out there and Mitch is out there with him or Hart's out there with him, he doesn't have Jalen Duren on him in that possession. The Knicks are down 2. There's 40 seconds left. He knocks down that 3 to give them the lead for good. If Jalen Duren is not on him, that 3 probably doesn't happen. Jalen Duren had no idea what was coming. He had no idea how to stop it. Who would? He has to guard 30 feet out. He's a center. So despite the poor space that Cat had and everybody was surrounding him in that possession, he was able to get the shot off because Jalen Duren is he's a big dude. And he couldn't recover after Cat created space off that step back. Little push, but you know, you got to give credit to Towns for not floating inside the arc when he was off ball. Not decimating the spacing and relocating inside the arc like he has a tendency to do. When he was up top and he was off the ball there, and the ball was under the basket, he wasn't leaking in. He stayed outside, got the ball, and was able to create space on the big there. Does not happen if he's playing next to another non-threat. And then if we rewind a little bit to the first 3-point make that he had in the fourth quarter there, really good job by the Knicks of exploiting the switch and exploiting Detroit's help. Because the Knicks knew that Bickerstaff was switching his guards onto OG willingly. So Tibbs had Brunson set up OG on the post ball side. Hart was on the weak side dunker. Cat was spacing on the weak side wing. So Brunson throws the entry to OG, who's posting the small, knowing that Detroit would have to send help off the second side. But Hart's man had to stay committed to him since Hart was on the dunker, not the corner. He was a threat because he was right next to the basket on the dunker. And so that left Towns pretty open since Hart's man was on Hart, and Tobias was in help on the strong side, doubling the post, OG. And so the Knicks were able to get, or Brunson was able to get an incredible skip pass off to Towns, and Towns was able to knock down a shot over the closing, whoever it was on Hart. That's player placement and spacing 101, folks. That's positioning. Right? Hart as the acting 5 there, the acting center, allowed that. Towns continuing to space out and not floating inside the arc allowed that. The Knicks getting that switch for OG and having OG post the small there allowed that. And Brunson continuing to find his teammates. He did a really good job finding his teammates. Early in the game, getting early paint touches, both feet in the paint, drawing help, finding the pass. Did that all game. But on this possession, he stays outside the perimeter, gets the OG screen for the switch, and then it's from there, it's the Knicks working their magic. That's spacing 101. So, good win, 94-93 victory. Obviously, at the end there, the Knicks get that play where Detroit misses. They grab the offensive rebound. Hart falls over, gets pushed down. You can debate about that all you want. Hardaway misses that shot on the Hart contest. Foul, no foul, don't care, because we can't change the outcome. We can bitch all we want. Of course, Detroit's 6 fans are crying. You know, every team that loses to the Knicks in the playoffs, I feel like all do the same thing. They can't comprehend that the New York Knicks are a really good team now. I don't care. I don't care about foul. You never hear me bitching about officiating, win or loss, on this show. You never do. I'm not going to sit here and complain about Dennis Schroeder flopping. I'm not going to sit here and complain about Tim Hardaway Jr., ironically, playing left tackle all series with his screens. I'm not going to complain about Tobias Harris. I'm not going to complain about any of that. Because why? Welcome to playoff basketball where things get physical. It's crazy that us Knicks fans have to explain it to the 6 Pistons fans because you guys are trying to run with this bad boy Pistons gimmick. What, does that only work when it goes your way? Tell us. And it just makes it so much better that Brunson in this game scores 32 points on 2 free throw attempts. 15 points in the fourth quarter. Did not need 1 free throw there. Just the cherry on top. Icing on the cake. And hopefully tonight is the nail on the coffin. So, folks, with that said, we're going to wrap it up with our trivia when we return from break here on episode 854 BD4. Stay with us. Be back in a few minutes. BD4 is available on social media for those who want to follow. You can find BD4 on Instagram at BD4Pod. You can find us on X at BD4Pod. And you can find us on Facebook by simply searching BD4. Hey guys, just a quick reminder, this podcast is also available in video format on YouTube. So be sure to go over to the YouTube channel, BD4, subscribe, like the videos, comment and tell me how much I suck or maybe how much you like the video. We'd very much appreciate it. Don't have time to sit down and watch a video? You can listen to BD4 on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And you can also watch the video format on Spotify too. Do you enjoy Yankees baseball but are tired of hearing me yap? I have a suggestion for you. Go check out Yankee Crazy Podcast. Greg Gill is a Yankees podcaster on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and he's now selling merch. Go to yankeecrazy.myshopify.com. Stay connected with us. Visit BD4blog.com to explore our blog, tune into our latest podcasts, and follow us on social media. Thank you for being a part of this community. All right, welcome back to the show. Episode 854 here of the podcast. I appreciate you all tuning in. Our trivia question here to wrap this one up is, here at episode 854, the Knicks and Pistons have played each other 19 times in playoff history. That's 19 different games. What's the Knicks record in that span of games? All right. So the Knicks and Pistons have played each other in 19 postseason games. How many of them have the Knicks won? All right, one final time. The Knicks and Pistons have played each other in 19 postseason games. How many of them have the Knicks won? So with that said, folks, appreciate you all as always. And we're going to wrap this one up here. Let's go finish these fools out. I don't respect the Pistons. I really don't. I don't take them serious. I think they're in their adorable little, 2021 Knicks phase where the Knicks were scrappy and, just weren't good enough when they played the Hawks that series. This is where the Pistons are right now. You're not a real opponent. So I'm excited for the gentleman sweep tonight. And if it doesn't happen, they'll get it done in the next 2 games. So let's make sure it's tonight at the Garden. That'd be fun. Thank you all. See you soon. Well, if you made it this far, that means you listened to or watched the entire episode. Thank you. Just remember to follow, subscribe, download, rate and review, and all that fun stuff to help out the podcast. And I will see you in the next episode of BD4.